Well, let's go post live. We are post live check, audio check. All right. So let's first of all, let's go ahead and make a statement. Statement is any and all right, any and all names that I have named thus far in my post, they are not accurate. I don't know the names specifically. Um, I have to officially put that out there. I could be guessing at the names, which means that I could be messing up their names. I don't know. And so I shouldn't be putting people's names out there. Right. So I retrack those names because I don't know the names. I'm just guessing at them. And that's about as far as I know. I can say that I don't know the names are. So they could be as Peter Pan for all I know. Right. And so I want to get into some of the logistics. So law, some more of the law side of it. All right. And so what I know, excuse me, is that it's difficult, right? No matter what laws and rules and amendments and things have been passed to help veterans to sue the VA, is difficult all the way around. All right, lawyers say it. If you look online, you'll see that every attorney that will possibly take on a veteran's case for things like I'm claiming, which is medical neglect. I mean, how can it not be medical neglect, right? And I have to tie that into malpractice. So it being medical neglect is obviously some form of malpractice, which means that my disability has gotten worse because of no care through the VA. There could have been some sort of management, we don't know, but that's not my decision to make. The policies and procedures that are governing the VA have to be applied to me. So I did have a misdiagnosis, which helps me for CNS vasculitis. And the good thing about it, which is me protecting me, okay, is that I didn't believe it because I know what happened. How can I have a stroke if I know exactly what happened to me? So, yes. So, that was the boss material. Anyhow, so I have legally, I have to connect those two in order to claim. So that's difficult. That's difficult, and that takes resources, right? Now, in retracting, um, I suppose that's just being safe. You know, I wouldn't. I would. That's a necessary thing to do. So it's not just something that should be done. It's a necessary thing to do. But being in medical neglect, okay, I wouldn't know what else to call it besides medical neglect. I mean, malfeasance. You have malpractice is the big thing. You know, they want death. You know, malpractice would be like the worst thing, I guess. Right? If you have um, malpractice, which is like the VA has hurt me. Well, if I claim that, then I got to prove that I've been hurt by the VA by neglect, medical neglect. So most of the time, people think of malpractice, they think of surgery that or something that the VA did, like medication or surgery that hurt the VA, the veteran in some way, right? So that's the usual case. But you do have neglect, which is, I believe, a little more rare, but it does happen, right? And in my case, it's most definite. It's a most definite act because I've been begging, I've been asking for it, I've been denied it, I've been departmental care, medical care, been denied that. Misdiagnosed one time, also no medical treatment for it. No one will recognize it through the VA. So I'm trying to go the Army way at the moment, but with that, um, that's going to take some time for an investigation to go through, um, and you know trying to follow through and up with that is a long process. So, what does what is the option for being mistreated through the VA? I mean, is that something that you have to add on to malpractice? You know, um, I wouldn't know that, but I'm sure um, there's there's a process to being mistreated. I mean, I sort of the mistreatment usually goes hand in hand with the neglect. So if you're being bullied and they're talking down to you and disrespectful and that sort of stuff, that has to tie into the malpractice. All right, and that would have to be something an attorney would have to talk to me about. All right. So resources are important. If you get to a point where I am, and that's where I am in the case where I'm stuck between a hard rock and and everything else that I can't do, that I can't file a claim against because I don't have the resources. So it is a hard place, right? It's a hard place to be. And so I need to use, and that's what I've been fighting for. That's what I've been addressing is look at me. I mean, I got this paralysis here. I got paralysis all over my body. I mean, how much more do you need to say, well, why are you not getting, it's just, okay, so it's like this. It's like this, okay. So let's say I get an attorney, okay. They review my case. Usually it's a free consultation. And then, they do a review and yeah, it's like, well, it's going to be difficult. Why is it always difficult? I mean, considering if an attorney would look at me, usually it's over a phone that you get the consultation, okay? But if you were to look at me and say, well, shit, man, you can't do this. Why have you not been? And so the easiest route, the easiest way to the solution is a straight line, right? So they're always trying to find the silver lining of the thing. Like, well, maybe you just didn't file the proper the the proper paperwork, right? And so that's what I'm making these posts about. Yes, I have been filing the proper paperwork. I'm getting worse and worse and worse, and this paperwork has not worked. Also, I've been reaching out to the politicians. Now, how do I deal with that? How do I deal with that? So can I say, well, let's start with Ron Barber. Ron Barber was the person I was contacting. He's no longer in office, but he was a Democrat. I'm a Republican. I don't care for him much. But look, if he's going to help me, he's going to help me. And so how do I deal with the fact that he didn't do anything to help me forward my case? Now, he was there in the beginning, so there's a margin of error, right? I want to get that out of the way, chop that off, and say, okay, there's a margin of error. But after, that, I mean, I'm going to be facetious here, but after, like, turning blue and red and purple and silver and all kinds of colors because you can't breathe, there's got to be a point where somebody says, stop the madness, stop the bleeding, let's get him situated. Let's get that person situated. What's going on here, right? Well, that's not happening to me. You see, and at some point after Ron Barber or during Ron Barber, somebody had to say something. I mean, I'm asking for advocacy. I can't help myself in the VA to battle the government by myself. Can I? If that's the case, then you might as well just, wish that you die in service, right? I mean, I didn't have a concept of thinking I was going to have trouble. Yes, I had a concept of dying. Yes, I had a concept of being injured. Yes, I had a concept of being maimed and all that other stuff. But I also had a concept in my mind of somebody saying, well, that's going to be taken care of. Well, I'm falling between the cracks. So I have no power to point it out. That's why I need advocacy. So I'm trying to get attorneys. I'm trying to, not hire them. I can't afford to hire them, right? So I'm trying to get as many reviews as I can. Okay, put all my ducks in order. It's very difficult for myself now in this position to um, put together all the stuff that has happened to me in a nice little bow, right? Put in a bow, present it to somebody, and be like, this is my best evaluated case that I can come up with. What do I have? I'm not being treated. Look at me. Yes, I filed for this. Yes, I filed for that. Yes, I did an OIG report. Yes, I put in complaints. Yes, I called Congress. Yes, I called my mama. Right? I've done it all. I mean, how many more times do I need to do it so that the government can avoid a lawsuit? That's ridiculous. I mean, is it like chances? I have chances. Like if you do it 3 times, and that should be enough. No, one time. All right, one time. So that's where I sit today, and I'm gonna make that one short. I didn't do the one yesterday. I was busy doing some stuff, but I'll make this one short. That's gonna be my mandate. No update. No phone calls. No Tom O'Halloran. What the hell his name is? He's my congressperson. Kirsten Cinema. None of that. No one has. There's nobody wants to talk to me. And again, I'm in a situation. I need the help yesterday, and I don't get any response back. Not even from the office. Like, hey, we're working on it. We'll get back with you. Do we have your information? Is all your information correct? Do we have your email? Is all that still good? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But I don't have any confirmation, no correspondence, no nothing. And sitting in this position, I deserve to have somebody take a look at it at least and say, this is a serious case. Let's look at where this person sits. Let's look at the malpractice. Let's look at the neglect, see how vast it is, see how extensive it is, and how long has it gone on. I mean, they'd have to look at all the evidence, and that shouldn't be that hard. That's their job as an attorney. That's their job as an event, whatever it is that they do. Right? That's what they do. I mean, shit, right? I mean, I shoot rifles, you do the books. So we got to get that together, man. I mean, I get exhausted, or just I look at these things and I go, well, should I contact that one? Oh man, and then this is the point is on these sites, you don't have a list. Okay, when you're a veteran and you fall between the cracks and you need advice from an attorney. You need advice from some sort of legal assistance or something. You don't know what's going on. It's hard. You don't have a list. Nobody retires you from the. Nobody medically retires you from the military with a list that says, here's some attorneys in case you get yourself in a rut. Here's how the VA operates. Here's what you do, you don't do. Here's who to call in case you. There's no list. There's nothing. You get zero. Okay, good luck. Bye. Thanks for your service. Okay, they spend more money on other things than doing the basic fundamental practices, which is, hey, let's bring in all these resources, these people from, Army One and I don't know, whatever they are, these businesses saying they advocate for rent, they don't do shit. Right? They don't do a damn thing. Everybody has a limitation. Everybody has SOPs that they can follow. If it doesn't meet their SOP, they're not going to take you on. So what do? Do you just die? You wish you were died? Do I just wish I died in the explosion? Come on, people. The job was to get hit and move on. Isn't that the mission? Man, if people would just stop dying, we'd have less people to take care of. If we're all superheroes, we wouldn't have to have a big military, right? We'd take care of it on our own. A few people and it's done. Why? Because they're hard to kill. They get blown up, but that's not the reality, is it? The reality is you can get hurt by wind blowing you off a truck. That's the reality, and you get hurt for life. So it could be the easiest to the hardest thing, and everything in between. And I'm in between. All right. So what's so hard about evaluating that? What is it so hard about evaluating that? What are the chances? Right, and that's the way the attorneys think. Attorneys think, well, what are the probabilities of us taking on this case, and what are we going to make? How are we going to win? There's all sorts of adjudicated things, but like I said, I'm a unique case, so that's why I feel like I need somebody to put me in the books, and that's why I'm trying to go the military route as well to get a change of medical. So that way I can be in the books of something so specific that it needs to be used as an example, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So what? Okay, let's use it. Just use it as an example. But shit, if it's going to be used as an example, that's going to take a lifetime, and I need to get paid for it, and I need medical medicine for it. What do you think? I'm just going to sit here and wait for it to be all solidified and ironcladded into the books, and then I'll be dead by then. We need fast track. If you're going to do fast track for criminals, you're going to do fast track for our heroes just as well, even faster. It should be, right? Move me on, move me forward. Then you have thanked me for my service. Thank you officially for our service. I deserve all that stuff, right? I mean, TBIs, once TBI is granted, it includes something like a Purple Heart. It includes your medical. It includes different kind of benefits that I'm receiving for a spinal cord clinic or the polytrauma clinic or something in that field, right? Well, where is it? I think somebody like John Stewart was on it. I think he was doing the right thing. I think he still is doing the right. He was when he was addressing the VA at Washington. They came out and gave him some sort of attention. He shouldn't have gave up at that point. He should have came more prepared. This is my opinion. Should have came more prepared with information, because I'm one of those people. that would be more than gladly happy to stand right next to him if he's fighting for veterans. I don't care what his political value is, right? I mean, come on. If you have the information, you need to fight. Well, hey, and all he got back was, hey, we're doing the best we can, Stewart. I don't know if you guys seen that video. But John Stewart was over in Washington D.C. He was advocating for veterans. Somebody from Congress, I believe, came out, started chatting with them. Of course, high profile, and just basically told him, hey, we're doing what we can. Look, I am doing this, and I am doing that. We are doing this, and we are doing that. And he sort of okay, well then I guess that's okay for now. And man, you see, you can't go prepared like that. You went to a gunfight with a knife. You got to go to a gunfight with a gun. Okay, he could have been a little more prepared, and if I was standing right next to him, man, it would have been a whole different story. I've been like, well, that's fine, all dandy done in Wonderland, but I don't work with you guys. I have to go home and deal with my disability, deal with this progression. Don't know if I'm going to wake up tomorrow. Well, you know you're going to wake up tomorrow, more than likely, more than I will. Go to work, deal with the stuff, and go home and clock in and clock out and have a nice, beneficial Washington job. Where I'm trying to advocate for myself. That's two different things. Working and advocating are two different things, people. Okay, I'm fighting for it. I'm advocating for it. I'm trying to correct the proper payment that I'm receiving per medical, so I can start receiving the medical or the correct medical diagnosis without prejudice, without any sort of judgment, and that's what's being happened to me. But see, I can't just claim being to an attorney that I'm being mistreated and neglected in an attitude. I need to connect I need to claim that the injury has gotten worse and has hurt me more. Well, it has, because of the neglect of wanting to treat it properly and applying things like 38 CFR, which is, if it looks like a duck and sounds like a duck, it's a duck. Well, let's get him in there and get him some medical treatment. Maybe we can give him some steroids in the meantime, which has helped him in the past. Maybe customize it, tailor it to his needs. A very, very slow dose to keep him from having stiff neck or it progressing, and in some sort of manner, maybe we can slow it down or something. No, nothing. I got zero. Zilch. Nada. So that's a problem. You see, I'm just pointing out the obvious, man. That's a problem. If you get burned on your body, 85 to 95%, like I'm dysfunctional, you would expect somebody to treat that burn, right? Not neglect it and say, it doesn't really look like a burn, right? I wonder what that is. It could be a suntan. Well, that's kind of a burn, ain't it? But it's more like a suntan, not a burn. No, it's a reflection from the moon. That's what I'm getting, people. That's what I'm getting. It don't look like a TBI, but you sure are losing motor function. Shit, fine motor function. You sure are losing it. Yeah. That has nothing to do with TBIs. Nothing to do with TBIs. People with TBIs do not lose motor function. They run, they play football, they jump out of airplanes, they stay in the military. They do all sorts of stuff. They bang their heads on the wall. They do not lose motor function. Am I hearing myself? Holy moly, man! I'm trying to tell you guys. That's the way I'm being treated. So I would love to, get malpractice in there and say, well, yes, it's malpractice. Well, who mis? Well, no, it's not malpractice in the fact that they touched me and I got worse. It's in the fact that they haven't touched me and I got worse. That they haven't treated me. Now, if they treat me and it still gets worse, I can't. I can't say that is going to be okay. That it's not a reason for me to claim malpractice. You know, nobody knows. But when it comes to standard operating procedures from the federal government, there's a process, and the process is apply the standard operating procedures to something that is in conflict or something that needs to be resolved. If there is, now if there isn't, then one needs to be created, right? And there still is a protocol for receiving some sort of medical care, and those applications that really don't fit me could still be applied. They could still be applied, right? Like so, in other words, the closest thing that resembles what I have is multiple sclerosis. That's the closest thing that resembles the stuff that's going on with me. People that have MS go through what I'm going through. Okay, that's the closest thing that I can come up with. And doctors, yeah, it seems like kind of an MS. They talk under their breath like that. I mean, I've heard them. I've been to the doctor's office. Yeah, it has characteristics of MS more than anything else. I've heard it. Okay, so in that manner, why wouldn't you want to at least give it a shot? To say, well, it really acts like a duck. It sounds like a duck. Maybe we should try to treat it in a very careful way, like a duck, and maybe we can get some progress moving here. They could at least try. Well, it's gonna, and that's the thing with the steroids, right? Well, it's going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. You see, I can't win. So what do? I just die with no medical care, no benefits. See, that's not right. That is not correct. You cannot do that. There is an application for me. There is a process. There is a protocol for me, right? And you don't have to be Mr. SOP doctor. I know every medical SOP that you don't have to. That's why you have staff. Okay? And that's why you have the SOP. That's why you are a doctor. So you are the gatekeeper. You follow through with it. And you're saying, well, okay, well, we got to give him some kind of treatment. There's got to be some sort of medical plan for this fella, not the stuff that I'm dealing with already. Okay, they have isolated, and that's what they're going to do. They have isolated things like my diabetes, right? And so the diabetes is not going to be included into the TBI. But yet, everyone that I talk to that deals with the diabetes says you're way too young to be having diabetes like that, man. You're way too young to be having diabetes, and it's complicated. You have the up and downs, like some people, but no one, no one, no one can't say that my nervous system is aggravating maybe diabetes that I was to get in the future, maybe when I was older. But that's when I'm much older. I was a healthy fella, according to the military. Well, all of a sudden I got out of the military and I got diabetes. No, it was everything happened after the injury. Okay, so everything was happening after the injury, and now look at me. You think that this had become that? So you're saying, okay, diabetes, right? Diabetes, okay, it gets people. We can't. It's hard to tell. Okay, but let's add it to what he has now, because he has it. It's not like through two separate issues. It's the same body. It's the same body, right? It's the same body. I don't have two bodies, do I? So you can't separate it. It's got to be the same central nervous system as everything. It will affect everything, right? So that's one of the other reasons doctors don't want to deal with me. So you, so if you guys could say, hey, we're going to separate the diabetes and say we've been treating him in some fashion for his TBI, that's a bunch of bullshit. There's no record that states because it says his TBI his diabetes is associated to his TBI. There's no record showing that. I have all my records. I download them when I see a doctor. There's nothing that states I have a TBI. It says that I've been claiming the TBI, but that's it. That's not medical. That's not medical authority, right? So there's neglect. They don't want to. I've been crying about it. So it's not like I have mentioned it once or twice. No, I've been, every time I go in, I mention it. Hey, I have a TB. When am I going to get an evaluation? Well, we're going to have to send you to this fella. Like I said earlier, retract those names. I don't even, but whatever his name is, Peter Pan, right? Because I don't get the names correct. He won't pass me through because he's following the narrative. So I have to try to connect that narrative to malpractice. Right? Well, if you don't pass them through, what's the reason why you don't pass them through to get a standard evaluation for a TBI? Because then you can apply the C38 CFR, which is if it looks like a duck and acts like a duck, and you really want to take care of this veteran, and you think that it's probable, more than probable, that he sustained this injury overseas, and he has it, which is a very rare situation, then you say, yes, he's a duck. But if it's so off the bend, if it's so off that I have this thing that will not even remotely be closely related to some sort of injury overseas, then you say no, right? People get, for instance, they get diabetes. People get diabetes because they're susceptible to it. So they can get it anytime during the service, anytime after the service, right? But you cannot hold that against me because you don't know how. As far as the Army was concerned, I was healthy. I didn't have any signs while I was in the military to having any sign of having diabetes. I had physicals, I had urine tests, I had everything done. When I got out of the service and I was working after my tour, when I got the injuries, then I started having problems. Okay, that is a medical. Uh, that is medical proof that it has aggravated. It has somehow brought it forward. The central nervous system. Oh, what's this? What kind of central nervous system problem do you have? I have a TBI. Oh, well, let's check it out. Well, I haven't. No one has checked it out because they refuse to check it out. You see, I have claimed a TBI and I got denied a TBI, but I was told to do that by some folks. Hey, you should get denied a TBI because, then they're going to say you never claimed a TBI. Okay, so I claimed a TBI. Whereas the advice before that was don't claim nothing through the Order of Purple Heart, through all sorts of programs I was in that I fought to get into. And I finally I got all that advice. Don't do this, don't do that because of this, that you can't file for that. And there was all sorts of stuff. So I didn't do any, I was following orders. Okay. And all that is mental anguish. And it adds up to nothing. Well, that's a bunch of BS. Adds up to nothing. I was told not to do this kind of stuff. Okay, we're going to do this first before we do that. You need to get a medical nexus before you do this. And if you get a nexus that ties your disability, see, to this, and if you get that, then you get this. While I was trying all that, I had doctors refuse to give me nexuses here. After they have found out that there's a narrative going on that I don't have a TBI, that I'm crazy. They even tried to put me on the chair at the VA. Do you see the devil? All this stuff, right? They tried to put me on the chair saying I'm crazy. Doctor down here already told you about him. This doctor at the Arizona Eye Consultants. I don't even know his name. Don't want to know his name anymore. He'll move his body parts when he feels like it. Absolutely absurd. Is that not grounds for something? I mean, that's medically neglecting me altogether because the VA told him to neglect me, not right off the bat, but he's following the narrative of what the VA has been denying me, which is so obvious of which I have. So the Army side, I'm trying to go through the Army side. Also, right now, it's taking some time. They told me it was going to take some time. So I'm trying to contact them, and it's the correspondence is slow. So I mean, I got to get this stuff moving because it's I'm losing more energy, more energy, more energy. I mean, I feel like I'm 100 years old. Okay, it's not easy to explain that you don't have energy, that you're losing it. You have a central nervous freaking system, and you're losing energy. How easy is that to explain? You tell me. Okay, so I have to muster up energy because I have a central nervous system dysfunction. Well, what does that mean? Well, no, apparently nobody knows, and nobody gives a damn either, right? Well, I'm going to make people give a damn, and that's my job, all right, whether you like it or not. And so I'm fighting a few fronts here, okay? And I know what the fronts are. I'm not doing it just for selfish reasons. How can somebody do this for selfish reasons? This is absurd. All right, so I want to be put on the books. I want a new. If nobody knows about it, then let's write it down. Send me to the damn which is University of Arizona. Send me to University of Arizona. Let's get a screening going on. Let's get some scientific stuff going. Let's put it down in the books, and then give me what I need. Let's do something though. All right, let's not keep pointing fingers at my service. Let's not keep pointing fingers at my disability. That I'm faking my disability. Now, is that not grounds to sue somebody for discrimination of disability? I think it is. So, so that's I wanted to post for a more judicial side of things because um, the other posts I just want to show you guys how frustrating it has been. But I do know what I'm doing. Right, I know exactly what's going on. Um, as far as my progression goes, as far as what I have been through, I know that it has taken everything, but I can't remember details. And so my mission is to go forward, right? Because that's what I have left. That's it. I can't live in the past, and why would I with this disability? I can't even remember. I have short-term memory stuff. I like I told you guys, there's times I don't know where I am. There's, I kind of get freaked out a little bit. There's this and that. There's all these things. There's this paralysis going through. There's my pancreas. There's my diabetes. There's this. There's that. So it's not something easy to deal with every single day. And if you think it is, I'll be more than happy to give it to you. Okay, with the problems that come along with it. So that's my case on this post. Um, And I'll end that now, and we will do another tomorrow.